Hi, in this lesson, we're going to talk about what is a body in the context of a SOLIDWORKS part. Normally, in SOLIDWORKS, we'll create a sketch on a plane and extrude it to create a single part or a single body. If we were to go back to this sketch, and instead of creating a single loop, we were to create two loops with an additional rectangle, where these loops do not intersect, and they don't cross, the extrusion will create two separate bodies. See that there's a gap between them, they don't touch. It's not a single continuous volume of material. SOLIDWORKS also will list in the feature manager the number of solid bodies and actually surface bodies if you have them, and it will identify these on the screen for you as well. So the concept of bodies has been in SOLIDWORKS for many releases at this point. It was not always there, and when they first implemented it, there were some difficulties with getting people to understand how it worked and what the advantages were. We will talk about some of those advantages in the course of this chapter, but in this lesson, I just want to show you some examples of different ways that you can create multi-body parts. The first that you've seen is obviously to create disjoint sketches. But you could also create another body by making a cut that goes all the way through. This creates a third body, and notice that SOLIDWORKS names the body after the last feature that's touched it. There's another type of feature that you can use to make bodies from existing bodies, and one would be cut with surface. I'm going to make a copy of this plane by control dragging it up, and then once this plane is created, I'll go to the Insert Features Split command. This is different from cut because cut will throw away one side of the part, while split will keep both sides. So the property manager shows up, and we can put it back where it belongs. The trim tool, in this case, need to make sure we've got that. And then we click on Cut Part. It gives us all 6 bodies, and I can click on each one of these that I want to keep. In addition to splitting out these bodies within the part, you can also save them to separate files. We'll get to that functionality in a later lesson. So when we create the split feature, splitting 3 bodies into now 6, this is just another way that you can create multiple bodies within a single part. Tell you that those are separate bodies. There are several things that I can do. One would be to hide part of the body, or to change one body to a wireframe display, or change another body to a different color altogether. Another way to make a separate body would be to open up a sketch right on the top face of this part. Use the sketch command. Draw a sketch on there and extrude it. But while you're extruding, the property manager and turn off the merge result option. When you do this, this creates another body that is not joined together with the other features in the part. A further proof that this is a separate body rather than merged together would be to go to the Insert Features Move Copy command, select the cylindrical body, grab the arrow on the inside, and pull it away. Multi-bodies are not meant to be confused with, they have some similar functionality, but you shouldn't use a multi-body part when what you really need is an assembly. Again, this is a question we will deal with later on in this chapter. Let's take a look at another part, a little more complex than what we've been doing here. That was done with multi-bodies. When you create a mouse, very often, different parts within the mouse have to share a single shape. So on this surface, that's kind of round and arching, we have the light gray part, the dark gray part. This kind of thing is very difficult to do in context. But if you were to do it in a single part and then break sections of the mouse away to be used in individual parts, then it's easier to do. That's exactly what was done here. If we roll back this part to the very beginning, you see that the major surfaces were created using surface commands, and the entire shape was created within a single part file. Work our way down the feature tree. We've got a solid at this point, and we know that this is a solid because up here we have a solid bodies folder with a single solid body and 2 hidden surface bodies. So the bodies concept applies to surfaces as well as to solids. From here, we shelled out the part and started applying fillets, and then we broke it into individual bodies. The first split was done with a plane, where we cut off the bottom of the part. The second split was done with an extruded surface so that a curved split could be achieved. And the final split was done with a planar sketch so that the split could have a particular outside shape. The last 3 features are move body features, which I have suppressed, and I'll turn them back on. I'll click on the bottom one, shift select the top one, and then click on the unsuppress option. This is the equivalent of an explode in an assembly, and this is part of the reason why I advise you to not confuse a part with an assembly, because multi-body parts do not have a convenient explode function. From here, each one of these individual bodies can be saved out as an individual part, and the work of fastening the parts together can take place with all the engineered features such as bosses and ribs and other types of features that you need to add to plastic parts. In the next lesson, we'll take a closer look at the bodies folders and also display properties for multi-body parts.